Imagine a doctor with a charming smile who became one of history's most feared monsters. Today, we're exposing the horrifying truth about Nazi doctor Josef Mengele, the angel of death, and the nightmarish experiments that shocked the world. This isn't just history. It's a chilling reminder of how evil can hide behind a friendly face. Stay with us, because what you're about to hear will leave you speechless. He didn't just decide who would live or die. He played with life itself. Twisting science into horror, Josef Mengele carried out experiments so disturbing, even his fellow Nazis were horrified. From freezing victims alive to sewing twins together, this is the terrifying real story of how far one man's obsession with perfection would go. And trust us, it only gets darker from here. Known as the Angel of Death, Josef Mengele was born on March 16, 1911, in Günzburg, Bavaria, Germany. His father owned a successful company, Firma Karl Mengele & Sons. Josef had two younger brothers, Karl and Alois, but details about his early childhood are scarce. As he grew older, he pursued two fields of study at university. Mengele earned a degree in philosophy at the University of Munich, where he was heavily influenced by Alfred Rosenberg, a major architect of Nazi racial ideology. He later obtained a medical degree from Goethe University in Frankfurt. 5 years later, he completed a PhD in physical anthropology, a field focused on human evolution, biological differences, and the roots of human behavior. This background set the foundation for the disturbing experiments he would later conduct. In 1937, Mengele studied under Germany's leading expert on twins at the Institute for Hereditary Biology and Racial Hygiene. Around the same time, he joined the Nazi Party in the SS. Initially drafted as a medical officer, Mengele saw heavy action on the Eastern Front. After suffering a serious injury, he was reassigned to the prestigious Kaiser Wilhelm Institute for Anthropology, Human Genetics, and Eugenics. Before that, he was awarded the Iron Cross First Class for heroically rescuing two German soldiers from a burning tank. That same year, he received his infamous post at Auschwitz, where he truly earned his monstrous nickname. At Auschwitz, Mengele's main task was selecting new arrivals for either forced labor or immediate execution in gas chambers. Those deemed unfit, including healthy children, elderly individuals, and pregnant women, were sent to die. While many fellow officers were deeply disturbed by this role, reports suggest Mengele took great pleasure in it, often whistling cheerful tunes while deciding fates. Mengele was particularly obsessed with twins. Amidst the massive influx of prisoners, he found many sets to conduct his cruel experiments. But his duties extended beyond selections. He also tested the Zyklon B gas used in executions, contributing to the Auschwitz experiments that became infamous worldwide. Mengele attempted to research a cure for Noma, a gangrenous disease spreading among prisoners. His method? Killing affected children and sending their body parts back to universities for study. But what he did next would cross a line even monsters rarely dared to. He also sought ways to help German soldiers survive freezing temperatures during wartime. To do this, he exposed prisoners to extreme cold to see how much they could endure, and then experimented with reviving frozen bodies. While horrific, these are actually his lesser-known experiments. Mengele is most infamous for genetic experiments, particularly regarding eye color. Attempting to refine the master race, he injected dyes into children's eyes, causing excruciating pain and often blindness. Most victims were eventually murdered so Mengele could collect their eyes for study. He was fascinated by anomalies, such as twins with differently colored eyes. One witness recalled seeing a table at Birkenau covered with samples of eyes: pale yellow, bright blue, green, even violet. Imagine being a terrified child, clutching your twin's hand, only to be dragged into a lab where survival was a coin toss. Mengele's twisted science wasn't just brutal, it shattered the human spirit. Many theories exist about his obsession with twins. Experts believe he hoped to uncover methods for increasing the birth rate of so-called racially superior German twins. Strangely, despite his monstrous deeds, many prisoners remembered Mengele as outwardly charming. One survivor described him as an attractive man with a perennial little smile showing a gap between his teeth. His polite demeanor hid the brutal experiments he masterminded. Mengele reportedly treated young prisoners relatively well, giving them a kindergarten environment with better food and games. Children affectionately nicknamed him Uncle Mengele, tragically unaware of the horrors awaiting them. He experimented not only on children, but also on dwarfs and pregnant women, performing surgeries without any anesthesia. These victims, too, were ultimately sent to the gas chambers. Witnesses recall Mengele amputating limbs without pain relief, pulling teeth, conducting blood transfusions between twins, and even performing crude sex change surgeries. He isolated prisoners for long periods to observe their descent into madness. But his most infamous experiment involved sewing two twins together in a horrific attempt to create Siamese twins. Survivor Eva Moses Kaur recounted the terrifying aftermath. The twins' blood vessels and organs had been connected, leaving them screaming in agony for days before succumbing to gangrene. Another survivor, speaking decades later, recalled two young favorites of Mengele, Tito and Nino. One was a hunchback. After a brutal experiment, they were sewn together, back to back, wrists stitched as well. The smell of infection and gangrene was overwhelming. It's important to note, much of what we know comes from survivor testimonies and German military witnesses, not written records. Mengele meticulously avoided documenting his atrocities. After the war, Mengele fled, first working as a farmhand, then obtaining a visa under an alias to escape to Argentina. His wife refused to follow and left him. Mengele reportedly worked illegally as a doctor, even performing abortions. Although mentioned during the Nuremberg trials, most authorities believed he was dead. Still, Nazi hunters like Mossad spent years searching for him without success. Mengele died in 1976, suffering a stroke while swimming in Brazil. Life had been harsh for him. He lived much of it in poverty, as revealed by 86 letters found in São Paulo police archives. In these letters, he expressed zero remorse, still calling Jews unworthy lives. His son Rolf, who rejected his father's beliefs, once visited Mengele in the 1970s. He described his father as a frightened, hounded creature, depressed and suicidal. A fitting example of karma, perhaps, but even decades later, the scars Josef Mengele left behind have never fully healed. Survivors carried his horrors with them for the rest of their lives, living proof that real monsters don't hide under beds, but walk among us in plain sight. Mengele may have died alone and hunted, but the echoes of his cruelty remind us why we must never forget, and why history must be told, no matter how dark it gets. What do you think? Should Mengele's legacy of evil be remembered more widely, or should his name be erased forever? Let me know in the comments below.